Hello everybody, what's going on? Thrive here and welcome back to my channel. So just the other day I did a video talking about the new DLC that we know is in the works and on the way. If you're curious about that and you want to see the evidence, just check out the video. I think I left it in the comments down below. And but still though, in this video today we're kind of doing a bit of a follow-up in which we'll be doing a list. I mean, you guys read the title. We'll be doing a list about the 5 DLCs I would like to see Frontier do. And there's only one big rule with all these DLCs, and that is that I think Frontier can do them. That's the only big rule. You know, these are all possible DLCs. But I don't want to talk too much longer. I just want to get straight into the video. So let's go ahead and begin this list. Alright you guys, so of course at number 5 is the Petting Zoo pack. Now, I only included this one on the list because of how popular it is in the community. And in terms of ideas that will expand the game, a Petting Zoo expansion is brought up quite a lot, though many people can seem to agree that it would be a pretty boring idea of a DLC. And I do like it to a certain extent. It does make sense, because petting zoos are very common in real zoos, so it's enough to give it some recognition, or in this case maybe a whole DLC, but there are certain things that definitely hinder on it. For example, the recent inclusion of the llama. You know, llamas are one of the most key classic petting zoo animals, but the game treats them like wild animals, so that basically shows that any future animals will again be treated like a wild animal. If they escape, guests will run and scream. And you really can't have that with a petting zoo. People would not run and scream. If you have a petting zoo, if a goat got out, it'd be so bizarre to see your guest running around and screaming because it's a goat, you know? They would have to make a lot of changes to the game, and that's what an expansion does, but I really don't think a petting zoo is big enough or popular enough for them to really put in all that work. Again, it would expand the game in some sort of way. You know, you can get unique things. That petting zoos are unique in some sort of way because guests can actually go and touch animals and be in the same area a lot more of them. And the game gives you walkabout exhibits, but you can imagine they'd have to make time to show your guests actually trying to pet the animals, trying to hand feed them, things you'd typically see. And it would be a lot of more work than a typical DLC, but still, it's just a little too bizarre, and the recent inclusion of the llama hinders on it. So that's why it's only at number 5. Plus, again, it'd still be kind of a boring idea for a DLC. Yep, an African pack at number 4. Now I just want to clarify, when I say African pack, I mean specifically of a certain region in Africa. I mentioned this in my previous video, but when it comes to making region-based packs, my best guess is that as they go through each continent, depending on whether or not they've touched the continent at launch, is whether they do a certain region of it or the whole continent. For example, with the Arctic pack, it's a certain part of North America. Because the game already had North American animals, so they really can't do a North American pack. They had to do specifically the Arctic region. But with South America, there was barely any South American animals, so they could do the entire South American continent. So when it comes to Africa, a certain region would be really cool. And I know people will say, oh, we don't need any more African animals, but honestly, I'd love to see some more. I know it's not completely necessary, and I do believe it will happen. In fact, I think it is the next DLC. There's still definitely a lot of things to enjoy from Africa that we don't have, like African rhinos, more African birds. There's a lot more African predators we could see. There's tons upon tons of more African ungulates, more primates, and then there's a lot of more regions that it would be really cool to see. For example, some ideas I saw being thrown around were Ethiopian Highland pack, an Egyptian pack. I'd love to see a Southern African pack, as there are a lot of animals in there that I really love, that again would just be great for the game. So overall, an African pack would certainly, while not super necessary, would help the game in some sort of way. I think a lot of people would actually enjoy it, and I really hope the next DLC is some sort of an African pack. A European pack. Now this one's interesting. Some people probably wouldn't say this is necessary at all, and again I would probably agree. Just like the African pack, this is not very necessary, though some people I've seen have said Europe is something they've already touched upon. I don't agree. I think there's barely any European animals in the game, and while yeah, Europe doesn't really have an extreme amount of animal diversity in life, there's something they could do. This is basically the third continent behind South America and Australia that they could do a whole entire DLC on. I could see a whole European pack, giving a few different animals from multiple parts of Europe, whether that be the Alpine mountains with the Alpine ibex, or the forest with the European bison, or the I forgot where the Iberian lynx lives, but the Iberian lynx, very necessary. So, you know, Europe to an extent could be a really awesome pack. I'm sure it would. Maybe it wouldn't be super exciting, but it would help the game. It would almost be like an alternative to the very common-asked North American pack. People just want like a full North American DLC, and I don't think we're ever going to get it, so this European pack, again, is a good alternative. I really think this is something they could do, and they probably will. You know, again, three continents they've touched upon: North America, Africa, Asia. They will do like region-based packs, and then South America, Europe, and Australia, they'll get their own entire packs. And so, yeah, European DLC definitely needed to be mentioned on this list. Alright, an Avian Expansion. We're all thinking it, we all want it. It may just happen one day, and I sure hope it does. I've mentioned before, and this is something I'm kind of known for now, the community I've seen, at least in my Discord, but people are always telling me, or are reminding me that I've made it pretty clear I don't believe in an aquarium expansion. I've made that very obvious, and you know, again, I still don't think there is, but the next best thing would be an Avian Expansion. Something still pretty big to ask for, but way more possible, and it makes way more sense. Again, I know aquariums are a part of zoos, but not nearly as much as an Avian Expansion. That would contribute so much to the game. Think about it. Yes, aquariums, or okay, let me just back up a second. Adding an Avian Expansion would be like one of the last big pieces to the puzzle of a full correct zoo simulator game. Frontier's gotten a lot right already. They gave us tank animals, they gave us free roaming animals. There's a lot we could do with that, but in terms of another big piece of the puzzle, an Avian Expansion makes a lot of sense. Because again, also aquariums, well, yeah, they're in a lot of zoos, they're not in all, but pretty much every zoo you'll go to will have an aviary. You just will. It's inevitable. Birds are everywhere, so it makes a lot of sense. And again, I know it would be a lot of work, but they've actually mentioned in the past they're looking into it. Like right after the game launched, people managed to get some news out of them, and they said they were looking into adding in free-flying animals. It would be a really big thing, and I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but as like a last DLC to the game, whenever that'll be, that would be a great one to end on. Just like with Jurassic World Evolution, it seems like their last DLC is Return to Jurassic Park, and that had the aviary, a big thing added to the game. Same thing here, only way more detailed and expansive. They could end the game on an aviary pack, and I would just be all out for that. I think everyone would be. It would be a huge deal, and I do believe they will do it. I just don't believe anytime soon. And hopefully we can give them all the time they need to make it as good as they can, right? Hopefully it won't be super limited like the tanks, but we'll just have to. I'll happily accept any sort of aviary expansion, even if it's super limited. I would love it, honestly. Please, Frontier, if you ever do this video, we would all love some birds. Was it surprising or not? I don't know, but an Australian pack was definitely going to have to be on this list, and for me, it is the most exciting and most likely pack. Honestly, I would find an aviary expansion more exciting, but the Australian pack beats it because it's way more likely, and it may just be next. We don't know, but the Australian pack is like the most heavily requested DLC. That probably next to the aquarium and avian expansion, but at least the Australian pack is way more realistic. Holy crap, guys, it may just be the next DLC, I don't know, but it is something that has got to happen. It is inevitable, and I think everyone would just freaking love an Australian pack. As far as animals go, there are a ton they could do. If they do it, they're pretty much gonna do the entire continent. It makes a lot of sense. We could expect to see kangaroos, of course, wallabies, maybe even koalas, Tasmanian devils, cassowaries, emus, freshwater crocodiles, frilled neck lizards, inland taipan. There is so much they could do, and it is inevitable, honestly, and it's just a matter of time. just matter of time, right? I'm not going to say much more because it's been talked about already. I've talked about it quite a lot, but I think you guys agree with me. This should be number 1 on the list. Maybe next month we will get some kangaroos. We'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, though, I hope you all enjoyed this list. I kept my talking a bit shorter, right to the point, but I hope you guys like it. Please remember the like button, subscribe. Tomorrow I'll be uploading a new gameplay video, finally after some time. But I'm about to go on this big trip, so I hope I don't miss the DLC. I will still try and upload some videos in that time, but if that doesn't work out, I may not be uploading for a week or two, and that's just that's again because I'm going to be out, and I'm going to be out west actually, in Oregon and Colorado. It's just this big trip. I'm really excited for it. But anyway, though, for those who are watching, I hope you have a great day. Again, please remember the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this list. What do you agree with? What do you don't? And I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.